right, real quick, let's rewind back to 2016. This is when I started my self-improvement journey. And I was not a confident guy back then, but I was starting to watch a bunch of YouTube videos, read a lot of self-improvement books, and I was trying to be more confident. It's also the same time that I started working as a personal trainer for Sports Club LA, which was like a very high-end gym that eventually got acquired by Equinox. And I remember this one afternoon, I had a meeting with one of the sales girls who was the hottest girl who worked in the gym. So I went into her office because I wanted to convince her that, hey, when new members sign up, have them schedule their free personal training session with me so I can get more clients. But bro, I was super nervous. I felt super awkward and intimidated walking in there. And I remember 5 minutes in, she like broke eye contact, kind of blushed, looked away, and she was like, oh my God, I don't know what it is. Like, you have very strong eye contact. You have such a strong, confident presence. It's messing with me. And I was like, what? It's messing with you? Like, I'm sitting here feeling so awkward and you're telling me this? And that's social secret number one. When you first meet someone, you have to create a solid foundation. Because check it out, they've actually done studies where they've taken the participants and they've showed them an image of someone on the screen, and then they gave them either positive or negative information about that person. And then later on, they showed them the same person and then gave them contradictory information. So if at first they told them something positive about the person, then later they told them something negative. And the interesting thing is that the participants' reactions were dominated by the first information they were given, regardless of what they said later. And this is proof that your first impression that you create when you meet someone, that is how they're always going to look at you, basically. So like with this girl, she saw me as a confident guy because of how I presented myself at first, even though I wasn't feeling confident. And even if I did a bunch of like weird, awkward things after that, it's very likely she would always see me as a confident person. And look, the truth is that I'm still a very introverted, shy person. I don't really enjoy loud environments. I don't enjoy meeting new people, but I've trained myself that when I do meet someone new, internally I tell myself, all right, let's turn it on. Let's make sure we make strong eye contact. Let's give a firm handshake or a nice, warm hug if I'm meeting a girl. And let's make a big effort to really speak clearly and be confident, at least for these first few minutes that we're talking to them.
Yeah, it's funny because the first date me and David went on, he made a really strong first impression. I remember he went in for the hug, he held eye contact, but throughout the date, he was like really calm and quiet. And in my head, I was like, who is this mysterious guy? Like, I want to get to know him better. Like, what is he thinking about? No one likes that really loud guy that's like fighting for attention. That's always like, he likes to hear himself talk. There's something really sexy about that quiet confidence.
Social secret number 2 is minimum effective dose. So Julia, my girlfriend, actually my wife now, it's still weird saying that, me and her work out almost every day together. We've been to gyms all around the world, and it's normal for guys to look at her. From time to time, guys will also come up and approach her when I'm not right there.
So a couple weeks ago, I was at my gym here in Spain, and I see this guy out of the corner of my eye, and he's waving at me. And it was one of those times where you're like, is he waving at me or somebody else? But I was being friendly, so I waved back. And then all of a sudden, I see him beelining it across towards me. And at this moment, I was a little uncomfortable because I was like, I don't know who this guy is. And he comes right up in my face, and he's like, hey. And I was like, hi. And he was like, I'm so-and-so. And I was like, hi, I'm Julia. And he was like, we should hang out sometime. And I was like, oh, thanks so much. Actually, I'm married. And he was like, well, can I get your Instagram? And at this point, like, I was really uncomfortable. You could tell by my body language. I was pulling away from him. I was looking around for David. And after what seemed like 5 minutes, he finally walked away. But I was extremely uncomfortable. And what he did was super creepy.
And it's funny, man, because after this, Julia came scurrying over to me and was like, hey, this guy made me feel uncomfortable. And I was like,
hey, show me who this guy is.
Right, my masculine instincts kicked in. And she went to try and show me, like, 30 seconds later, the dude was gone. We've actually never seen him at the gym ever again. We call him the French ghost. I think he was so ashamed by the bad approach that he just never came back. But it doesn't always go like that, right?
So a couple years ago, we were working out in the Austin Gold Gym. Y'all remember that gym. And there was this guy that me and him made some eye contact, and he approached me. He was smiling, and he was like, hi, my name is so-and-so. What's your name? I was like, I'm Julia. And he was like, I know this is random, but I think you're really cute. I'd love to hang out sometime. And I said to him, hi, thank you so much, but I actually have a boyfriend. And he was like, no worries at all. Enjoy your workout. He didn't stay. He didn't linger. He didn't make me feel uncomfortable. And I was thinking the whole time, like, wow, this guy is a really confident guy.
The point is that when you linger around, it doesn't matter if you're talking to a girl or another guy, you quickly make yourself look needy, desperate, and just annoying. So what I've trained myself to do is to end interactions when there's still on a high note, when things are still going well. If I was to approach a girl, if me and her are laughing, even if it's only 1 or 2 minutes in, we're having a good time, that's probably when I'm gonna say, hey, look, I gotta run. It was nice to meet you. You seem like a cool girl. Do you wanna hang out sometime? This is basically going to make it automatic that she looks at me as a confident, non-needy man. That's just the type of behavior that signals. Now, obviously, if the conversation is going well, sometimes you're not gonna think to end it. It's normal to wanna keep talking if things are going well. So in that case, you do wanna be very aware if you notice one of these body language signals that people tend to do when they're starting to get uncomfortable or bored. So the first one is just if they're starting to like position their body a little bit away from you. Like if you're here, they're positioning their body this way. It's almost like they're trying to signal, hey, I want to start moving this way, not talk to you. Or something else a lot of times is people will start like looking at their phone. And I'm not talking like you're on the first date with the girl, she's disrespectfully looking at her phone. I'm talking like you approach the girl or you're having a short conversation with someone and they're kind of like half paying attention to you, half like, yeah. That means they're not really engaged with you. Or another one, I think I do this a lot, is I'll start mentioning things that I have to do next. I'll be like, yeah, man, cool. Or like, yeah, cool. I actually got to run, get to the gym next. I got to keep filming this video. So bro, as soon as you notice one of these things, that is your signal to get the fuck out of there. And just to be clear, this also goes if you meet like a new bro who could potentially be a cool masculine friend. But look, if we're being fully honest here, most guys want to level up our social skills and our social prowess because we want to be able to more consistently meet higher quality women. It's not usually to talk to other dudes, right? And look, I know a lot of you watching this video have probably already, leveled up your career. You've gotten your gym routine down, but it's really common that you put off trying to fix your dating life because, you're busy. Maybe you had a bad experience in the past. You don't think it's possible for yourself. So if that's something you've been struggling with and that's something you would like help with, I just want to let you know that I am here to help with my Beast Dating Coaching Program.
My dating life prior to the program was about 5 years of no dating, but here it was the accelerated path. Like on average 2 dates a week. Yeah, I have a girlfriend now.
I didn't know when and where I was going to get a date. Now I do 4 dates, some hookups. I'm currently dating a girl. I think it's a 4th date.
I've been going on 2 to 3 dates a week. Getting online dates has become so easy. I'm not investing a lot of time and energy and days.
Those are just a few guys who've recently been through the program. There's been hundreds more over the last few years. And essentially every guy in the program, we work with them until they're at the point that they're able to consistently meet the types of girls that they really want. And the good news is we're looking for a few more motivated guys to bring on board. So if that's you, you can click the first link down in the description or go to beastcoaching.com to learn more, see more testimonials, and apply now. First link in description, check it out. All right, ready? Social secret number 3 is the boring dude. Or if you do this, you're never gonna be the boring dude, I should say. So ready, I'm gonna tell you the same story quickly 2 times, and I want you to tell me how it makes you think of me as the storyteller, right? So I was with my buddy Dave, the homie Dave. We were in San Diego back in 2017, 2018, and we decided to go surfing. So we went to the surf shop, we went in, the guy told us the waves were gonna be kind of big and intimidating, to be careful. So we got the surfboards, we walked down to the beach, and like the surf shop was like 8 blocks away from the beach. It was kind of an annoying walk, but eventually we got there and we started surfing, but the waves were super big. So we struggled to get past the breaking point. I think we finally got past the breaking point a couple times, tried to surf in, and at the end, I was actually wearing a GoPro on my head. It flipped down from a big wave and broke my nose. And it was just like an awful attempt at surfing. All right, real quick, what do you think about me as a storyteller? How do you perceive a guy who tells that story? All right, now, here's the second version. So y'all know the homie Dave, right? Me and him go way back, and we were in San Diego back in like 2018, the first time we'd ever been to San Diego. Super excited to get there, and both of us were like dying to go surfing. So one afternoon, we go to the surf shop, we walk in, and I remember the guy behind the counter is like 6'4", this long surfer hair, typical Cali bro, right? And he's telling us like, you guys gotta be real careful out there. There's some killer 10-foot waves out there today. And we're feeling confident. We're like, all right, bro, just give us the boards. We'll figure this out. We get the boards, we get to the beach, and we almost shit our pants looking at the waves. And for like an hour and a half, we're trying to get past the breaking point of the waves, and we can't do it. I am exhausted. I'm tired out. So eventually, somehow we get past, and after chilling for like 20 minutes, catching our breath, we try to ride the waves in. Dave gets kicked under the waves. He's kicked against the bottom of the ocean floor. He's got scrapes all over him. And I fall off the board. Same thing happens. And just as I'm coming up and gasping for air, the GoPro on my head flips down and it's an intense pain. And by the time we get back and I can see myself in my phone screen, I can tell that I broke my fucking nose. What do you think about that storyteller now, huh? You tell me. Well, obviously the first one was kind of flat and boring. It's how most people tell stories. The second one, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but it was a much more enticing story that draws you in and makes you feel like you were there with me, right? And at the end of the day, that's a lot of times what makes someone seem like an interesting person, is when they can bring you in to these parts of their life that were really exciting, and now you're like, man, that guy's got a really cool, exciting life. Now, the cool thing about storytelling is, like, if you have just one or two go-to stories, every time you're on a first date, you can crack that out kind of randomly, like, oh God, you know, speaking of the beach or speaking of traveling, I gotta tell you the story that happened to me and my buddy back in San Diego. And here are 3 simple keys that once you implement these things, you're now going to be like an automatic, amazing storyteller. Number 1 is to avoid side tangents. So when I was first telling the story, I'm like, oh, it was like 8 blocks from the beach. Like, sometimes pieces of information come into our heads and we just want to obsessively or compulsively tell them, even though it doesn't like add to the emotions of the story. 2, focus on the emotions and the feelings. I was scared shitless. I was so nervous. I was so happy in that moment. I was so tired, because people connect with emotional states. They start to feel that emotional state as well. And 3, include really specific details. You know, the guy was 6'4", long Cali hair, Cali bro. These things allow people to actually picture what was happening. And again, it's like they were there with you and the story just flies by for them and they want to hear you tell another story. Social secret number 4, be the nice guy. I know that sounds backwards. That goes against everything you've ever been told on YouTube, but it's good to be the nice guy sometimes. Like, back when I wanted to become a more dominant masculine man, I would go around like telling myself, I gotta be an asshole out here, right? Like, I gotta have a very stoic, flat face. If I see a girl I like, you know, I gotta kind of like give her a mean look so she knows I'm a badass. If someone says something to me the wrong way, I gotta aggressively put them in their place. And I walked around with this kind of like passive aggressive or just straight aggressive energy. And it's so funny, man. It's laughable. Like, it's clearly overcompensation, right? Because if you're a dude who's actually comfortable and confident with yourself, you don't walk around looking at everyone as an enemy trying to be the Sigma male. And it's no wonder that during that time I was not getting laid, I was not making a lot of new friends, and I was not even that happy of a person, right? As every time I left my house, it was like I was in the war zone, dropping into Call of Duty. But what I've realized is, if you look at the world as a war zone and every social interaction is a test of your masculinity, you never are like open enough to be confident when you're talking to people. Like, earlier today, me and Julia were at Starbucks. They're kind of rare here in Spain, but we found one. And this guy walks in, and as he walks in, you know, he says what's up to someone else there. I kind of noticed that in my eye. He's chatting up the barista, laughing with her. I don't think he knew her. As he's walking out, he helped this old lady, like, you know, he picked something up on the ground, gave it to this old lady. He walked by, even gave us a little head nod. And immediately, I'm looking at this guy like, damn, it must be a cool dude, man. This guy knows some people. He's casually chatting everyone up. That's a cool, nice guy. And I don't mean a nice guy in the sense of like he lets people walk all over him like a doormat. I mean, no, as he's going through different social environments, he's being open and friendly to the people he's talking to. That's really the key to not having social anxiety, is to look at different interactions as positive opportunities to have positive interactions with random people. Lately, Julia and I have been playing a lot of paddle, and we're always playing with different people. Whenever I get matched up with someone I don't know, I'm always trying to cheer them on. Like, come on, bro, let's get this. Vámonos. We got this game, bro. When I'm out at public restaurants or grocery stores, I try to be like the dude me and Julia saw at Starbucks earlier, right? If I see someone I can hold the door for them to make their day a little better, I'm going to try and do that. But if I was single right now, I know that I'd be approaching way more women with this mindset than when I was trying to be the badass Sigma male. Social secret number 5, never take the passive role. So I got another story for you here. Last week we were playing paddle, and we play these mix-ins where you go to a paddle club, there's like 15 courts, they're constantly mixing up who's playing together. Me and Julia got separated. She was playing down at one end of the courts, I was at the other end. And from time to time, you know, I heard this one guy like screaming and yelling, and there's always that one dude who just takes things way too seriously and is trying to pick fights with everyone. But I didn't think much of it, right? There's always that guy around. Now afterwards, Julia is telling me,
so we started the paddle match and I was playing against him, and he was already berating his teammate, and he was calling him all sorts of names, and me and my teammate didn't say anything. We just wanted to keep the game going. But there was one point where he served the ball and it was out, so I called it out, and he just lost it. He came to the net, started yelling at me, say, "What are you, crazy? Come over here, come talk to me, blah, blah, blah." Like, absolutely screaming. And his teammate actually had to get in his face and was like, bro, calm down, stop yelling at her. And then throughout the game, he then apologized to me, which was very bizarre. And I was like, hey, it's no problem. But then he must have not heard me or something like that, because then later he started yelling at me again, saying, well, you didn't accept my apology. What the fuck's wrong with you? Blah, 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 blah.
Like, this guy was being overly aggressive with my wife. And at that point, we were driving back and I was like, should I fucking turn this car around and go beat this guy's ass in? Now, obviously, after I had a few deep breaths, I was like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Like, Julia was not in any physical harm. This guy was doing this to a lot of people. But if I see him again, I'm going to be prepared to step in if needed. And from time to time, these things happen, right? Maybe you're in traffic and some guy cuts you off and then laughs at you or sticks his tongue out at you, or someone at a club shoulders you. And typically how guys behave is fight or flight. They either overcompensate and are like, all right, step to me, bro. What are you gonna do about it? Let's take this outside. Or what's probably even more common is the flight and just being a little bit more passive and just kind of being like, oh, like whatever, I don't know, bye. And the same thing can happen even with smaller confrontations, like keeping the paddle topic. There was one guy we were playing with, we were beating his ass, and he was trying to like give me tips in between the games. And normally I might just be passive and be like,
all right, yeah, I'll try that out.
Or sometimes I might be too aggressive and be like,
bro, I don't need to take tips from a loser like you.
But what I've realized is it's always better to take the middle path here and just to calmly take an active role. Don't overcompensate, but calmly set things straight. So the guy trying to give me paddle tips, I was just like, hey man, we can agree to disagree. My coach taught me this way. Let's just keep playing. That way I don't feel like a bitch afterwards for just like taking advice from this guy, but I also don't turn it into something that it doesn't need to be. Or if later today, as we're playing that same paddle mixin, I run into the crazy aggressive guy and he's yelling at Julie or yelling at me, that's when I'll step in and just say, hey man, you need to take some deep breaths. You need to calm down here. We're playing paddle. This behavior is it's out of line. If you enjoyed this video, I recommend you check out this one next. It is about how to get ahead of 99% of men starting today. And if you're new to the channel, click right there to subscribe, as I release 2 new videos every single week. I will talk to you in the next one. Stay beastly.